even too, if a woman has taken a gap in her career when she was married, taken time off, that also impacts her ability after a divorce as well to kind of pick up where she left off. So that
Yeah,
those are that's an additional reason
yeah,
too
that's
why
a
I'm able to
that's
pick up.
valid.
True, you brought it up again about the alimony, and that was her point um, before, is that we're using these celebrity or these people that are making this amount of money that will be paying alimony, which is not going to happen for the average person. And even when it does happen, alimony is not permanent. Usually it's anywhere from 1 to 5 years, right? So that shouldn't even be a thing that men should concern. Most men, majority of men, should even concern themselves with in regards to divorcing and thinking that they're going to have to continue to pay for a woman's lifestyle through alimony. Yeah. What's a guarantee? And then another thing is that they mix up alimony and child support. Those are two different things, right? When people are getting divorced, they're looking at, oh, they try to substitute child support as alimony and continuing to finance a woman's lifestyle, which is not the case. But just some of the statistics based on when you're looking at divorce and outcomes, and men are like, oh, well, that's why I don't want to get married for fear of divorce. It really should be women that are saying they fear divorce because of the outcomes that occur after divorce. Because when you look at it statistically, men typically bounce back quicker after divorce financially, even when paying child support. Women typically, if you end up in a like what you say poverty, they increases their likelihood of them ending up in poverty after a divorce. They in terms of childcare and career development, all of those things, it hinders women. The likelihood of them getting remarried, decreases after a divorce, whereas men are more likely to end up getting remarried and get remarried quicker after a divorce. So when we look at those things statistically speaking, it appears that it would make more sense for women to be afraid to get married. And a lot of times men try to say, oh, women are doing that because they're trying to get on a come up, like through a divorce. But again, the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't support that reasoning. So that's all I'm saying is just that if we're looking at it from a logical sense, it would make more sense for women to be very cautious about getting married for the potential of it leading to divorce.
So let's take it real quick. Why do you think that men bounce back quicker?
Typically, I think that they bounce back quicker because of the fact that they don't have the same responsibilities as women after divorce. Like y'all said, a lot of times women are the ones that are ending up with children. So even if you do have to pay child support, the day to day care financially of children costs more than it does when you're paying child support. A lot of times, because they are caregivers, they don't have the option of being able to invest more time at their job because they have caregiving responsibilities that take away from being able to be at a job longer and invest more time. So they're able to do that. They have more flexibility in how they spend their money because they only have to look out for themselves. So they can cut back on certain things and invest more. Where more women, their finances are going to take care of the household because they are with the children. Another thing is they are able to they typically remarry quicker, right? A lot of times women struggle afterwards because, like y'all say, y'all don't want to date women with children, right? So their options in dating and getting remarried decreases. So all of those things contribute to them being able to not bounce back as quick as men.
So men are
No, no,
remarrying women who don't have children.
Say what?
So men are when men get remarried, they're remarrying women without children.
No, no, he just asked me what makes it why the impact is different for
Yeah.
women.
No, I know that part, but I'm
Telling
so
you
just
yeah,
to that.
specifically to the remarrying part. Why women don't get remarried? One of your reasons was because men don't like women with children. My question was, okay, so the men who remarry fast and quickly, are they marrying women without children? Was my question.
It can be. I didn't look up the stats for that, but typically what I've come across though is that the older they are, the older the kids are, that plays very differently, because the older the kids are is not really looked at as on taking on a father or parental role responsibility versus when the kids are younger. So
Okay.
yeah.
typically you'll see women date, they may have children, they date, but a lot of times if they do remarry, if the kids are older, it increases their likelihood of being able to,
Yeah.
get married.
All right, Trev, finish your point. My bad, I cut
Yeah.
you off.
No, you good. You good. Um,
And
I
you
don't
guys
think
can look
that.
this up. I'm not making it up about the
No, no,
stats
no.
that I'm
I
talking
got that. I would
about.
also
Okay.
be curious about how beneficial marrying into um just getting into another marriage would actually benefit them per se, because second marriages first off have a really high failure rate for one,
Yeah.
and anything after that you're like 75% failure rate, so it gets crazy. You're up in like the high 60s if you
The
start
reason
to
I say that
second
is
They
because
marriages.
want
men,
another parent for the child.
Say again.
but not
So they
only
want
that,
another parent for the child, for what child? Because his mother got it according to you know
mothers typically
according
do
to
have.
Miss Aiken's
But
point.
marriage, if you look at the stats to that, marriage increases income. So, I mean, you can look up the stats on that. So that's why a lot of times the bounce back. Women, even though men don't value women, true. Um, I'm joking.
No, so I get that it's
There is a
no, so
benefit
I will
to them
absolutely say
being
that
around.
it's mutually beneficial for people to be married, right? And save money. We get that. That you're paying for one place, one electric bill. You bring your insurances together, put your wife as the lead if you're smart, put your phone bills together, all that stuff. Right. All that makes perfect sense. I get it. But I don't think that's the reason. I don't I can't really see them getting to a second marriage. I'd have to look at it. I could be wrong, so this is just my opinion. But what I do understand for sure is that men without a family are absolutely minimalist. Let's say a guy gets out of a divorce and a woman gets out of a divorce, he will probably eat nearly nothing. He don't care as much about furniture, like all of these types of things. Men know how to reduce these costs. That's why they're able to bounce back more. The superficial stuff that's out the window. Going out, needing a date, and all of that. All of those expenses are gone. Men spend a lot of money when they're with a woman, typically, or if they have a family, they want to appease the family. When you have kids, I spend way more money having a woman than prior to that, and kids forget about it. We know that. So, but by themselves, when they're the only one that they're responsible for, they don't care. Dudes, I don't know how many divorcees you're familiar with, but men, it looks very different for men and women. Men become minimalist. You have to, right? Just because your entire standard of living has to change. But I think that we find it easier to adapt just naturally. Naturally, I don't think it's because a great portion of them go into another marriage, because some of them do, but I don't think it's
I didn't
the
say that
majority
that was
benefited from
the
that.
reason or the only reason. You asked me to give you the reasons with the S. So those were some of the reasons that I gave you based on the information that I came across in terms of men bouncing back after a divorce
Mm.
quicker than women.
I think
Even too, if a woman has taken a gap in her career when she was married, taken time off, that also impacts her ability after a divorce as well to kind of pick up where she left off. So
Yeah.
those are that's an additional reason
Yeah,
too
that's
why
a
we're able to
that's
pick up
valid.
as well.
I think mistaken actually, because I'm just listening, right? I'm not one of those people that claim I know all the stats and stuff like that. But also I only accept certain ones, you know? So like I'm just listening. I'm just listening to what y'all talking about. And I think mistaken did make a good point when she said women, most likely women have the children. So it probably is a little bit more difficult. It's probably harder to move around. But I thought True made a good point when he was talking about, pretty much both sides needing to learn and kind of giving grace.
Mhm.
Because even though Bo was saying that like most men don't have money, I know that um you don't need money to be a provider, right? Um I see you up there. You don't need money to be a provider. Like even me, for example, before I had any type of real money, I was always a provider. Like it is what it is. Like I was always paying for everything, and I always wanted to pay for everything. In any relationship I was in, I paid for everything. Women came and they lived with me. I didn't live with them. They didn't need a job. If they had a job, awesome, cool for you, right? But you didn't need a job with me. So even if I stayed at that same income and I stayed in those relationships and I got married, I would still be the 100% provider, making whatever I was making because that's just how I got down. Now, if y'all splitting 50-50, that's different, right? But that's just how I like there still are men who aren't rich who are paying a majority of the bills and who are the breadwinner and who probably can be harmed financially after marriage.